Josh McDaniels has been fired by the Las Vegas Raiders. After having one of the worst beginnings of a year the Raiders have ever seen, Josh McDaniels is gone. He's been fired. It's almost unbelievable. The Raider fans have been rooting, chanting, yelling, screaming this at Mark Davis for at least a year straight now. About 6 months into Josh McDaniels' experiment, or whatever you want to call it, it really started going south. It went downhill. He benched Carr. Really, when he benched Carr, that was when you seen the Raider Nation really start to speak up about how they felt about this new head coach, the Raiders. I guess the next question is, who will replace Josh McDaniels as a head coach? I imagine their name, the new intern head coach, is what they'll call it. I imagine they're going to name that tomorrow. And after they do that, I'll go ahead and do another video letting you guys know who they're naming as the head coach. I'm going to take a guess right now. Seeing the defense and how good it's doing and performing, I believe Patrick Graham will be the head coach. Yes, Patrick Graham, the defensive coordinator as of right now for the Las Vegas Raiders. And I do believe that Patrick Graham was interviewed prior to hiring Josh McDaniels as the head coach. They were looking at making him the head coach, then decided to go with the failure that was Josh McDaniels. By the sounds of it, Belichick's out the door for New England, so I'm sure Josh McDaniels will cozy up and go right over to New England and screw things up over there too. Definitely glad Josh McDaniels is gone. If you are an offensive guru, so to speak, an offensive-minded coach, but you can't go out there and score over 20 points any game throughout the whole year with your offense, we're halfway through the year. You've got to be able to score more than 20 points at least one time through that whole 8 games of this year that we've seen. It's ridiculous. I am so glad Josh McDaniels is no longer the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. Brings new life into the Raiders. And what will the Raiders be? What can the Raiders be? All the optimisticness is back. It's back, guys. And heck, bring Derek Carr back. Give it a few years, let his contract wither out over there. You know Derek Carr is a Raider at heart. Josh McDaniels seeing a way out, a scapegoat, thinking that he could throw him underneath the bus and just send him on his way and everything's going to be fine. Well, look what happened. And then now you end up with Jimmy Garoppolo and Brian frickin' Hoyer. I've really tried to be optimistic about the Raiders organization and the direction that they were heading with Josh McDaniels, but he drove it right to the ground. Game after game after game, he just proved to get your hopes up and crash them right to the ground with this team. He doesn't know how to lead men. He's proved it. He proved it here in Las Vegas, and he proved it with the Denver Broncos. Look, we're super glad to be rid of this idiot and optimistic to see what the future has, because it can't go any worse with the offense. There is nowhere else to go. We're at the bottom. We're 32nd in the league. We're at the bottom of the barrel in offense. Anyone can do better. Thank you, Mark Davis, for finally listening to the fans. The Raider Nation has spoken up loud enough for you to hear us. Thanks. Josh McDaniels has been fired. He's out of there. We're looking forward. We'll find out who the new head coach is tomorrow. Like I said, I think it'll be Patrick Graham, the defensive coordinator. He has excelled at his job. Who the next head coach could be after this year's over? Could it be a big surprise and maybe bring back John Gruden? Maybe he even gets Carr to come back. But as this season sits right now, the Raiders are not out of the playoffs. We still got a lot of great players on this team. And hopefully whoever he puts in, Mark Davis puts in as the head coach, can use the stars that the Raiders have for a great offense. Look, the Raiders have the number 1 rusher in the league. Josh Jacobs. They also have arguably the best wide receiver in the game with Davante Adams. The Raiders have great players on offense. We just need to figure out who's going to be throwing them the ball. Realistically, Aiden O'Connell, I believe, is the only option the Raiders have going forward. Brian Hoyer's been a backup his whole career, and Jimmy Garoppolo was a backup, a third string backup over in 49ers crew. Along with putting a new head coach in, we need to make some changes at the quarterback position to give the Raiders the opportunity to actually make a playoff run this year. Wait, did he just say playoff run? Yeah, the Raiders have fired Josh McDaniels. Anything is possible. The year is definitely not over. With a new mind leading the offense, the possibilities are endless with this powerhouse of a crew we know as the Las Vegas Raiders. All right, guys, that's my time for you for this whole episodes today. Thanks for tuning in. Go ahead and hit that like and subscribe if you haven't yet. You got to remember, it's a Raider Nation. Just win, baby.